Nigeria is perishing. Okay, this is even factual things, strange things that I cannot even explain. Just take the issue of security and welfare, which the Constitution said is the primary duty of government. Tinubu's government has worsened the security of this nation. Please don't take my words for it. Take the words of Governor Zulum. He said Boko Haram is resurging in the northeast because they have taken away the resources, military resources, meant to fight Boko Haram to the northwest. And now, within 24 hours, within 48 hours, more than 10 of our well-trained soldiers humiliated, killed, after he has warned. So this is a government of the deaf and the dumb. A governor told you, look at what is happening. We need urgent response. None was given. Today, Boko Haram ISWAP, the reinsurgency is manifesting in the northeast. Failure for him. Let's come to North Central. You saw what is happening in Plateau State. They killed the first 50-something persons. The governor of Plateau screamed. What did this government do? Nothing. Within 24 hours, 48 hours, they killed more people, going to 100. And you know what the media aide of the president said? Plateau governor, go and mind your business. Go and take care of your people. You're not implementing shifting responsibility. The president was in Paris when those things were happening. He couldn't cut his visit short. This is Plateau. And the governor in tears was telling his people that they would see what they would do. Whatever happened to the state police when this president was a governor, all his successors were most vociferous on the issue of state police. And I mentioned Fashola, who has been saying it repeatedly, that you cannot give somebody responsibility without giving him authority to perform. These are his protégés. And I told them that tyrants don't always like to devolve power. That now that he's president, a man that can make the National Assembly to do the impossible within hours, can no longer make them to amend the Constitution to give us state police.
Do you think that is...
It is because he doesn't want it. As simple as that. Now...
Because he has said that it's going to be done.
What are you... Is it when he wants to leave or in his second term?
And NEC is
going to be done. We're just saying 2 years. 50% of it. How many days did it take him to change the national anthem? How many days did he take him to change the tax reforms?
Well, that took quite
a
while.
They begged him to even slow down in the tax reform. What did he say? He said, no, I don't want to listen. It will go on in the National Assembly. Who told you that if you wanted state police, you wouldn't have gotten it within 2 weeks?
Okay. The point is well made.
When Yaradua took ill and it nearly collapsed Nigeria, they amended the Constitution within a month. Section 145, if I can remember. It takes will. Because he does not like that. That is why it is not done. People are dying for nothing. Because Nigerians know the solution. Let's move to Benue State. Still in the North Central. In Benue State, even a Reverend Father's prayer could not help him anymore. Because faith without work is dead, being alone. His people are being massacred. And these places are the food basket of Nigeria. For you to know why we are becoming a basket case. When a government cannot protect the food areas of Nigeria, hunger and poverty ensue. And they are pretending they are working. Working what? In Benue, they keep people to the point that the Reverend Father came out and said the federal government should up their game. That is an euphemism of failure. How many people will still need to die before they do something? Let's go to the Northwest. Lakurawa, or Lakurawa, however it's called, an insurgent group that came in the disguise that they are protecting the people. And the people wholeheartedly submitted to them. You know why? Because of some spaces that are not just ungoverned, but ungovernable. And the people submitted only to discover that they are foreign terrorists. Do you talk about Niger? Good. The same thing. You saw how the governor of Niger State even descended to cutting the hair of Dada people. Do we go to the southeast, south,
But
southwest?
the government cutting the head of dreadlocks, that's not the president's problem.
No, it's frustration. No, the president is the one who is in charge of the security and welfare. He has the monopoly of the forces, has refused to cede the power to the state government by allowing them to have state police and giving them the commensurate arms to take on the insurgents that have superior power arms.
Okay.
Dr. Namdazikiwe said it's only a madman that goes to confront a man with a gun. You must be insane.
Like Ganduje, the chairman of the APC, had told us previously that 2027 is a done deal. And we've seen a gale of defections. Now, the North, that people used to say, oh, Northerners have rejected Tinubu. Now we have the governors of the Northwest, the senators, the lawmakers from the Northwest, all of them saying there is no vacancy in Aso Rock in 2027. So maybe Ganduje is right then to have said that 2027 is a done deal for the APC. What do you think?
Well, let's first of all commence this program by reminding us what Martin Luther King Jr. said. He said everyone must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. Our leaders, they are now very known worldwide for making a decision to walk in the darkness of destructive selfishness. You can imagine a people that are consumed by insecurity. This morning, 15 persons have been killed in Agatu, local government of Benue State. In Northwest, they have become a basket case, have the highest number of out-of-school children. They are the poorest. And then, what people busy themselves to do is to be talking about an election that is 2 years from now. Let me tell you, those sycophants that you saw there, they're not up to 1,000. All the political leaders in the Northwest, they're not up to 1,000. The population of Northwest in Nigeria is about 67 million persons. About more than 60 million persons. About 27% of the entire Nigerian population. Democracy is the government of the people, not the government of APC or some sycophants in the Northwest who are not interested in the welfare and security of their people, but in how to acquire power and money. It is shameful. We are not even up to 2 years of this regime, and people are consumed about who will be the next president in the next election. I tell you honestly, I feel disgusted. But like I said, they've made a choice to be walking in the darkness, pure darkness of destructive selfishness. These are people that steal what they don't even need. Let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say. If you recall, in Delta State, you saw how a drama went on there. Official defection to APC. In that podium that was in Delta State, men who have been convicted by Supreme Court for bribery and corruption in dollars in the name of integrity. You will see men that have been known to be pocketing dollar in their danchiki openly, looking at whether anybody is seeing them. Those same people are still being called by their states to give accounts of their stewardship as governor, and they are evading by all means unknown to go and answer for what they have done. Their surname is now classified as dollar, and you saw some people there who are invited by EFCC to give account. So there you are seeing association of professional criminals, made up of suspects, made up of accused, made up of convicts. These are facts. Are these people the people you think that will give you light of creative altruism? I have now known the philosophy of APC. In Delta State, their spokesperson came out and mentioned the ideology. They say they are taste of palm wine politicians. And let me tell you something about palm wine. My father was a traditional chief and had a DOC, a palm wine tapper, that brings palm wine for him in the morning every day. The one that the bottom has not reached the ground. Always swell. And that palm wine, if you don't refrigerate it, it can change taste more than 20 times in a day. And if you allow it to stay a day or two, it will be so strong you can use it to make local gin, kai kai. So these are politicians that are unstable like water. I guarantee you that a lot of them will work even for the opposition come in the next 2 years, because they are taste of palm wine politicians. They say when the taste of palm wine changes, they also change. So you are talking about chameleon.
Okay.
Who work?
All right, Mr. Okonkwo, today we don't have that much time with you, so I just want to step in at this point. I was reading an article, an interview granted by a senator who just defected from NNPP to APC, and in his estimation, he says, there are no parties, there are no ideologies, it's just the alphabet. The only thing that differentiates the political parties in Nigeria are letters of the alphabet. Now, in this instance, you're somebody who has come from Labour Party. We see the issues happening inside Labour Party. There's APC, which is now being accused of dangling the carrot, offering contracts and all sorts of juicy goodies for people to come and defect. There's PDP, which has its own issues. What's the way forward? Because it seems that all of the political parties are made up of the same people who, as you have called them, are palm wine drinkers, who change drinking pattern several times of the day. What's the way forward for the Nigerian citizen?
You know, like I said, I wanted to conclude on the fact that the election in the Northwest is going to be determined by 60 million persons, not by 1,000 sycophants. The way forward is very simple. You have known that I got disgusted with what even the opposition parties are doing. But thank God, the election of 2027 is going to be between the people of Nigeria and the ruling party, because democracy is the government of the people. The way forward is that there is a need. You know, there is a saying that your biggest teacher is your last mistake. In 2023, the opposition made the mistake of dividing themselves, and then a minority party that got about 37% of the vote now became a ruling party, and you can see the destruction they are making. The way forward is that the opposition should come together in a coalition. And when they come together, they will give Nigerians the alternative in integrity, in character, in learning, in knowledge. And I'm telling you, Nigerians will speak. And Nigerians must remember that in Nigeria today, when you vote, you have to defend your vote. So Nigerians must come together. The opposition must come together, set their house in order, and then take out this government that has become a scourge on the Nigerian people.
Okay, I'd like to ask you this. The Punch newspaper ran with a story today that some people are saying Atiku wants to give Peter Obi a running mate ticket for a one-term presidency. What's your take on Atiku and such arrangements like that? Anyway, Atiku camp offers Obi VP role in a one-term deal. What's your take on things like that? Secondly, you say parties have ideology. Can you tell me the ideology of the Labour Party that you were part of? Because, take for instance, I'll give you an instance. Labour is supposed to be pro-workers. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party was a proper capitalist to the core. There was a diversion of ideology in terms of who Peter Obi was and what's supposed to be the Labour Party ideology. So, tell me, and I asked this question to Peter Obi many times, tell me what's the ideology of the Labour Party. Because if a capitalist, par excellence, is running on a Labour Party that believes in workers' rights, are very social in its outlook, There's a diversion of ideology. So tell me what the ideology of Labour Party is, and tell me what you think about this Atiku Abubakar, saying he wants to offer Peter Obi a deal, VP for a one-term deal.
Well, you see, in politics, candidates have the choice to get into their own discussion and negotiation. But for me, my own take is that whoever believes that he's qualified to be president should submit himself for a free and fair primary election. That toughness that we're going to face in the primary will determine the person that has the capacity to face the tough challenge in the general election. I am not in the league of people trying to persuade anybody to step down for anybody. That should be the decision of the candidate himself, because I wouldn't want anybody to come out and say, I'm leaving this coalition or this party because I was pressured to give up my ambition. I wouldn't have left to be this or that. So whatever Atiku or Obi are discussing should be left for them. But for me, whoever wants to contest for the presidency should submit himself and contest for the presidency and let the people decide. That's what I'm going to say on that.
Okay. Now, the Labour Party ideology question I ask you, please. What's the Labour? Yeah.
Yes. The Labour Party ideology. Remember, it's a workers' party. And so it is to build a new Nigerian personality that is altruistic, that is transparent and committed to due process of law in all spheres of our economy, that will care for the security and welfare of workers. And I'm talking about Labour Party. Remember, the politicians entered into Labour Party almost 3 months before the time. So whether they will have integrated their own ideologies is something only God knows, because it's only God that knows what ought to have been or what would have been.
Okay. So
The voters in an election give to an incumbent. After 2 years, it becomes a legitimate situation to campaign for the next election, determine whether that government has succeeded or failed. Recall in America, every 2 years they have election, so that they have a choice of changing the direction of the country if the incumbent is not doing well, or substantiating his position if he is doing well. Trump just came in. That's why you have midterm elections. Because they know that the legislature is the seat of power in a democracy. Because they have the pulse and they approve of all the appointments from the executive. So 2 years is what the incumbent has. After 2 years, they don't have any other.
Okay, all right. Good way.
Any other hiding place.
Good way to open. So I just wanted to set that that frame just for the beginning theoretically. So how will you then assess the first 2 years? I mean, I think probably in a few more days it will be exactly 2 years. What would be your general assessment before we go into the details?
Very good. I will restrain myself from using my words and my opinion so that people do not say that I am already, in a camp against the incumbent. I am going to use the words of APC members, of Southwest people, of Muslims. These are his own people and constituency. Not long ago, the Islamic clerics from the north came out to disassociate themselves from same-faith ticket as a result of the performance of this government. These were the people that were willing to go on jihad when this man chose a fellow Muslim to be his vice president. And they said they would go on jihad if they don't put them in. Today, they have repudiated that ticket because of the terrible performance of this government in town. The people from Southwest, particularly from Okonkwo, the city where Bola Tinubu claims to be his own town, they were the first that shot the first salvo. Being power. We are hungry. And these have been corroborated by the World Bank. And the World Bank was even merciless in their submission by saying that throughout the tenure of Tinubu, we will be hungry and we will continue to be more hungry. They say 3.6% of the people will continue to enter into deeper poverty. And by 2027, more than 56% of the population will be in abject poverty. Now, the APC people want Onopasa to be precise. He said he does not know where this man's administrative style came from. But he has no business in Asherok. and that they will ensure he does not smell that and does not have second term. He's a one-term president. Summing up these are people that were willing to die for this government when this government came in. They have weighed this government on a scale and they have found this government wanting. They have cancelled this government, and I agree with them in their submission that this government is only a one-term government because Nigeria is perishing. Okay, this is even factual things, strange things that I cannot even explain. It's happening in this government. You have seen where they say, this is strange things I can't explain. A 10-year-old boy pregnating 10 girls within 5 months.
Is that very
That's what I'm saying, strange thing. In the next 9 months, the guy will be a father of 10 children. It's strange. Okay. Look at another strange thing. Okay. In the jam, because you have technical glitch. Consumed 379,000 results, leading to the suicide of one lady. But here is the difference. Your Loyede man came out in tears, in total remorse, apologized, owned up, identified the polling units. Or that a retake. And you ameliorate the situation.
I think that is
Wonderful. Very honorable. Compare that with Professor Yakubu, who owned up there was a technical glitch, who refused to identify the polling units affected and refused to conduct a rerun. Declared results from the sky and told people to go to court. They reminded Oloyede the jam register. People petitioned. They listened to them, investigated it, and said they were correct. People petitioned Yakubu, the opposition. On that day, he was declaring that result. And then they played back his own tape, audio tape. He listened to it, yet he continued and told them to go to court. That's the difference between being honorable and being dishonorable. Nobody should give 1 naira again to that Yakubu until it does. He's looking for the pardon. It's the worst thing that has ever happened to Nigeria in terms of electoral jurisprudence and electoral process. Now, coming to Tinubu's own issue, let's talk about the basic things about
before
government, which is the security and welfare of the people.
Just a minute, Ken. Just for purposes of fair comments, Professor Yakubu, we are open to your right of reply. This is the view of Kenneth Okonkwo, to which is entitled.
Absolutely.
If you or any of your aides also want to give a counter, this forum is very open. Please go on to me.
Thank you very much. I said what I said unapologetically because although they acknowledge technical glitch, use the same word.
Just move on, yeah.
Very good. Now, let's take the issue of security and welfare, which the Constitution said is the primary duty of government. Tinubu's government has worsened the security of this nation. Please don't take my words for it. Take the words of Governor Zulu. He said Boko Haram is resurging in the northeast because they have taken away the resources, military resources, meant to fight Boko Haram to the northwest. And now, within 24 hours, within 48 hours, more than 10 of our well-trained soldiers humiliated, killed, after he has warned. So this is a government of the deaf and the dumb. A governor told you, look at what is happening. We need urgent response. None was given. Today, Boko Haram is what? The re-insurgency is manifesting in the northeast. Failure for him. Let's come to North Central. You know what is happening in Plateau State? They killed the first 50-something persons. The governor of Plateau screamed. What did this government do? Nothing. Within 24 hours, 48 hours, they killed more people, going to 100 and you know what the media aide of the president said? Plateau governor, go and mind your business. Go and take care of your people. You're not implementing. Shifting responsibility. The president was in Paris when those things were happening. He couldn't cut his visit short. This is Plateau. And the governor in tears was telling his people that they would see what they would do. Whatever happened to the state police? When this president was a governor, all his successors were most vociferous on the issue of state police. And I mentioned Fashola, who has been saying it repeatedly, that you cannot give somebody responsibility without giving him authority to perform. These are his proteges. And I told them that parents don't always like to devolve power. And now that he's president, a man that can make the National Assembly to do the impossible within hours, can no longer make them to amend the constitution to give us state police.
Do you think that
It is because he doesn't want it. As simple as that. Now,
because he has said that it's going to be done?
what are you? Is it when he wants to leave or in the second term?
And next
It's going to be done. We're just saying 2 years. 50% of it. How many days did it take him to change the national anthem? How many days did it take him to change the tax reforms? They made him even slow down in the tax reform. What did he say? He said, no. I don't want to listen. It will go on in the National Assembly. Who told you that if you wanted state police, you wouldn't have gotten it within 2 weeks?
Okay. The point is well made.
When Yaradua took ill and it nearly collapsed Nigeria, they amended the constitution within a month. Section 145, if I can remember. It takes will. Because he does not like that. That is why it is not done. People are dying for nothing. Because Nigerians know the solution. Let's move to Benue State. Still in the North Central. In Benue State, even a Reverend Father's prayer could not help him anymore. Because faith without work is dead, being alone. His people are being massacred. And these places are the food basket of Nigeria. For you to know why we are becoming a basket case. When a government cannot protect the food areas of Nigeria, hunger and poverty ensue. And they are pretending they are working. Working what? In Benue, they kill people to the point that the Reverend Father came out and said the federal government should up their game. That is an euphemism of failure. How many people will still need to die before they do something? Let's go to the Northwest. Lakurawa, however it's called. An insurgent group that came in the disguise that they are protecting the people. And the people wholeheartedly submitted to them. You know why? Because of some spaces that are not just ungoverned, but ungovernable. And the people submitted only to discover that they are foreign terrorists. Do you talk about Niger? Good. The same thing. You saw how the governor of Niger State even descended to putting the health of that people. Do we go to the southeast? South?
But the government setting the head of the government is going to present.
It's frustration. No, the president is the one who is in charge of the security and welfare. He has the monopoly of the forces. Has refused to cede the power to the state government by allowing them to have state police and giving them the commensurate arms to take on the insurgents that have superior power arms. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe said it's only a madman that goes to confront a man with a gun. You must be insane.
I wanted to take up, two issues. The first one is the issue of state police. And I see your point that when the president was going to change the anthem, it was quite and then of course the issue of the tax reform.
Yes, they pleaded with him.
Now the issue of the anthem is not as complicated as state police, but the issue of tax reform is quite something that is so very clearly. If you look at what he has represented, and that is what I am sticking by. He has been an advocate of state police. So I still believe, and I will be utterly disappointed if the 4 years is gone and we don't have state police. That's my counter on that. And then on the issue of
so my question to you on that is why 4 years?
Why should we take 4 years?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with the facts. Look, the facts are the facts. Because there's no point about denying whatever the fact is.
Almost all the 36 governors, let's say 35, have agreed to state police.
Yeah, so I don't think that he is blocking the state police. I think he is I think that you are right that he's not as proactive as he was when he pushed the issue of tax reform.
That is blocking.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it's blocking.
A criminal offense, I come as a lawyer.
Okay.
A crime is commission or omission.
Okay.
The same weight. Okay. But then the same weight. You have
let me respond. The difference there, as a student of logic, I'm not a lawyer. No. But as a student of logic is that the crime has been done and the time has elapsed. In this case, it's still 2 years. I don't deny the fact. But there's still 2 years. I'm saying so still if people are dying at this rate, and they're saying because we don't have enough men. We don't have enough boots on the ground.
and you'd have to wait for another 2 years to allow. Look, 300 persons have died in Pakistan. This is legit.
Let's debate.
I agree with you.
Facts. I just want you to know that he's blocking it.
Yeah.
So by omission, that's your commission. That's your view. I agree that indeed, yes, you are right to say that. Look, when he wanted the tax reform, he was very strong about it. He made the point that look, these guys don't know what they're saying, and I even commended him for that. Now he hasn't done that for state police. But I think it's a time. Let's move on. Let's
Now, and you were saying something about his threats, as in when he wants something.
Yeah.
Good. I listened to the khaki wearing politician who used to say he's fighting for the people. Who's now a bourgeois in your studio. I'm talking about Adam Salio Shomwe. And when he was talking about Tinubu, he said Tinubu is the only person that has not decamped from one party to the other, trying to create the deceit of consistency. Because we're talking about going into 2 years. The most inconsistent politician in Nigeria that has no ideology, no policy, no principle is His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I take it from 1999. My words for it. We're talking about coalition. We're talking about this.
Yes.
And then somebody wants to give him as an example as a person that has been consistent in being in opposition. White lie. In 1999, Tinubu was elected as a governor under AD. And his state is the most prominent state in Southwest.
Right.
The same 1999, AD went into coalition with APP and produced Olufalaye, and they voted Olufalaye under APP. Coalition.
That was in
1999. They did not even wait the next year. In 2003,
right.
Tinubu, as an AD governor,
Right.
they went into coalition with PDP, the same PDP. And they voted for Olusegun Obasanjo. Tinubu particularly showed his ballot and showed how he voted for Olusegun Obasanjo. They dumped Olufalaye. In 2000 and...
Did Olufalaye run in 2003?
Yes. No, he did not run. But they fucked him up.
Yeah. So you can't say he dumped him. 2003 because he didn't run in 2003.
That's Eddie.
He didn't run in 2003.
He did not run. Now that's why they dumped him. They endorsed Olusegun Obasanjo to be their sole.
Yeah, but you didn't know that. You didn't know that Olufalaye wanted to run in 2003.
Whatever it is, he did not run.
So you didn't know. So
that's what I'm saying. Okay, because he ran for them in 1999.
Right.
In 2003, Obasanjo, that is his arch political, he call it rival, call it opponent in the Southwest. He aligned with him and personally voted for him. Coalition with PDP. In 2007, and that is where Oshomole told a white lie. Tinubu had already fallen out with AD and their leadership at Fenifere. He dumped them. He formed AC. And as a sitting governor of AD, decamped to AC. Because AD was still there.
No, but AD collapsed into AC, Kenneth.
No, they did not collapse. AD as a political party was still existing. He destroyed AD so that he will now no longer be under the leadership of AD, which is controlled and was controlled by Afenifere. So he formed a new party, AC. Remember, he ran under AD in that 2003. In 2007, he wanted to run with Atiku Abubakar. The same thing endorsed Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar was the presidential candidate of AC 2007. He wanted to be the vice presidential candidate. Atiku refused because of the Muslim ticket. So he decamped from AD into AC. Clearly, in 2011, he supported Goodluck Jonathan of PDP. President Jonathan just confirmed it by thanking them for throwing their support to the husband and herself. In 2015, not because he loved Jonathan, but because Buhari did not agree with his terms. And that was why the coalition collapsed in 2011. In 2015, Buhari was willing to agree and concede to him. And he supported Buhari. This is a man that has never supported two presidential candidates in two elections from 1999 to 2015. 5 electoral circles. And you're telling me about consistency?
Okay, all right. So let's just take it forward. I'll make a comment on my own perspective, and then we move to something else that I wanted to talk about. Now, and I'm going to start with North Central. And then I'll build it up. Now, I personally think that what is happening in North Central, which is not new, is cumulative, is quite, for me, I find it very, very alarming. It's a very troubling situation, and I think that as a people, I think we have even lost our humanity up to a point, because those deaths, those callous attacks no longer infuriate us as it ought to be. Which is why, I have tried on this program to humanize the story, to talk about, actually read out the names of the people. And I found the statement of the governor of Plateau State, Kenneth, I find it quite courageous to say that this is a genocide that is going on. Very, very forthright. Now, but I am willing to concede that, yes, Tinubu is well in charge, but this problem started long ago. I wish that he has the courage to deal with it, because what I think has happened is that we've not been blessed with courageous leadership who understand that the reason why you have power is to help the people to transform situation. Again, I'm still holding that hope. Now, the other issue I wanted to talk, okay. Well, no, you made your point now.
Okay, no, I wanted to point out. I respectfully disagree with you that as a people,
right,
we have lost our humanity. Nigerians are the most, as a matter of fact, Nigerians are the most.
I don't mean it. I don't mean it in a bracket sense.
That's what I'm saying. Because when you say it, it will appear as if we are now condoning or trying to contain. No, we are helpless in the front of incompetent leaders. Look at you. You're a journalist. You're not a soldier. So the best you can do is to be crying. And you're crying. What else will you do? Somebody begged, according to him, asked, and told you he has what it takes to stop it. And was given the chance. And it has himself. So it is not a case of the people. The people are wailing and crying. It's a case of leadership.
I agree with you.
And we talked about courage.
When I'm talking about, you go back to that. When I was talking about the fact that we are losing humanity, it's more about the political elites.
Yeah, the leadership.
Please go ahead. We're talking about
now. Men that have courage. I agree. The only thing the politicians in power in Nigeria do, unfortunately, is that they like to afflict the people with the pathogen of fear. They like to afflict them with the virus and bacteria of fear. But we will inoculate them with the vaccine of courage. Because courage shall of necessity be more contagious than fear. If they don't want to show courage to solve our problem, we should show courage to take them out.
And that's the point, that's...
What up to 5,000 persons, embarrassing 200 million persons?
I sat under Buhari or Shibajo, and it didn't happen the way we hope, which is why I'm here to say that, look, we need to give Nigerians the information that they need. We need to be able to talk about these things objectively and realistically. We need to engage and contest issues, which is what we are doing today. So now, let's move on to your perspective about the president's not defecting which committed. I also believe, I don't agree with you that the AD was sleeper. I think what happened was that AD dissolved. Into AC. Okay, all right. So AD existed. No, it certainly existed.
Many years, good. So it did not dissolve.
No. The main protagonist of AD dissolved into AC. Into AC. Oh well, it's leadership. Don't forget that.
What I'm saying. You say it's not the capital.
No, that's not the capital. What is it? It's the same people that formed a law for democracy. Essentially, that moved. Why did they substantiate? Why did they not keep AD Let me explain. You've made your point, Ken. Let me explain. So, what happened in 2003? Was that there was supposed to be some kind of understanding, between AD governors in the Southwest and the president, then Okonkwo, and like you said. So the perspective, the mainstream perspective, Ken, is that Obasanjo, outplayed 5 of them except Tinubu. Was able to say, look, we do not oppose you for presidency, but we are holding our ground. That was the agreement. But it turns out that Obasanjo managed to outreach the 5 others, Oshoba in Ogun, what's his name? Lamadeshino in Oyo, Akonde in Osun, Niyi in Ekiti. There's one more state that we are missing.
I think you've called.
Lagos, Oyo, Ondo. I think it's a different. I forgot the name of the government of the state. So that was the thing. So IMF then we are outwitted, outplayed, outdone by Obasanjo, except Tinubu. Yes. So that was how ACN. So AD was crushed in that defeat. So those leaders, including Oshoba and most of the other governors, moved and said that look, we are starting ACL. I mean AC. So essentially, Tinubu did not leave his people.
Thank you very much. I'll see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you and God bless you.